Welcome everyone to another episode of the MMA betting show. I'm your host, GK The Fight Analyst. Um, for those of you who do not know who I am, I'll just give you a little background of me. My name is Garrett Kerman. I am a fight analyst. I've been analyzing the fight game for 5+ years now, and I've been absolutely killing it on this end. Been starting this new podcast about a year or so. So I know a lot of you degenerate gamblers out there don't got much to bet on, and that's why I am here during these dark times for us gamblers. Unfortunately, we got a lot of we got the illness out there, so everybody be safe, stay inside, and while you do that, cash on some bets and watch some exciting fights. If you've never bet on fights before, it's probably the most fun you can have betting on any type of sport. You're talking about you're winning your bets within 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 4 seconds. If you watch the Masvidal knockout of Ben Askren in 3 seconds. So that's how fast you can make money in this sport. It's easily the most exciting sport to bet on, and I'm here to help you cash some bets today. What's up, Jose? What's up, Rick? Yeah, stay safe, guys, out there. Just try to stay inside. Don't go out. Just get some beers and just chill out. We got fights in just 5 hours. 5 hours from now, we got some great fights on tap in Brazil with no audience, which I think is gonna, favor a lot of these decisions that we might see sway in a different way. But yeah, let's definitely get right down. Don't buy Corona. Stay away from the Corona. Uh, but with that said, let's just get right down to these, fights. First on tap, we have a women's bantamweight fight between Bay Malecki and Veronica Macedo. Very low level women's MMA fight. Not the best as far as betting wise, but I feel we do have a good edge here. And right now you have Veronica Macedo at -155, and Bay Malecki, the comeback on her is +145. Veronica opened up as a very heavy favorite, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, -225, and now she's down all the way to -155, and rightfully so. I don't. That line was quite wide. Veronica is 1-3 in the UFC. She hasn't looked really great. She looked good in her last fight, but she faced someone who really wasn't not much much more high level than what she is. But I truly like Bay Malecki here. She's got a 5-inch height advantage and a 10-inch reach advantage. She was a former Swedish kickboxer turned MMA pro. She's 3-0 in her MMA career. She used to fight at lightweight. If you guys don't know, lightweight is 155 pounds, and now they're fighting at 135. Veronica is a former flyweight contender, and now she's moving up to bantamweight. So she's got a massive, massive size discrepancy in this fight here. Like I said, very low level. I don't think Veronica's going to be able to stand and bang with her at range. I mean, Malecki's probably going to pick her apart quite easily, especially with her range and her kicks and her 10-inch reach advantage. Veronica is definitely going to have to get in the inside and somehow drag this fight to the mat. But the thing is, Veronica's not a great grappler to begin with. She's only landing less than one takedown per 15 minutes. So I find it very, very hard to see her really dragging this fight to the mat. If she does, I feel like she does have the advantage, but for her to get there, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's only her third fight, though. From what I've seen on Bayer, from what I've seen on this, the records and that, it shows that she's a 3-0 record. So I don't know if UFCstats.com really doesn't have the correct, record there, but I'm just gonna go with that. But yes, Macedo does have 4 fights in UFC. She's 1-3. Her first win was her last win, and in the first round, and she didn't even look good there. She got taken down, and then she pulled out a submission off her back. So, I mean, kudos to her, but I just don't think she's light years better than Malecki, and I think Malecki has a massive advantage on the feet, whereas I don't think Veronica has a massive advantage on the mat that it's going to overcome the discrepancy in the striking. Okay, so yeah, so this is her third fight, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. She's versing a veteran, but if this fight doesn't get to the mat, how does Veronica win? She can't win in the stand-up against a kickboxer, a pro kickboxer with a massive size and reach discrepancy, in my opinion. There's not a home run play by any means, but there's no way I can lay the juice on Veronica Macedo at minus 155 when she's has not looked good whatsoever in her time in her 4 fights in the UFC. So I think there's a ton of value on Bay. I got her earlier. I think I got her about plus 165. I love her by decision. I also took that prop. It was plus 450. That kind of things are during these low level fights are where I'm trying to find value. Unfortunately, Veronica doesn't have much value unless you're maybe taking her by a decision or a submission prop. But even then, I don't see too much value there. We're gonna move forward to our next fight, which I'm very excited about because I'm very excited for this flyweight fight and debut of David Dvorak taking on Bruno Silva. Right now, David Dvorak is a minus 115 favorite, and the comeback on Bruno Silva is plus 105. David Dvorak opened as a dog, and money's been pouring in on him, and rightfully so. He's the number one flyweight prospect coming out of Eastern Europe. He's looked great, 17-3, 13 fight win streak. All 13 fights have ended inside the distance. He's got 8 wins by knockout, 7 wins by submission. He's looked phenomenal in his time over in Europe. Yes, we know he's not facing the toughest level of competition, but it's not like Bruno Silva is a world beater himself. He's 10-4-1. He's coming off a loss against Khalid Taha by arm triangle. He did not look good in the stand-up in that fight whatsoever. He didn't want to stand in exchange in the pocket with Khalid Taha. He got dropped within the first 30 seconds of that fight. From what I've seen in Dvorak stand-up, he's got some crazy power. He's looking to exchange in the pocket. So the moment that Bruno Silva exchanges moving forward, I feel Dvorak is definitely going to trade some leather and really land those heavy right hooks and right overhands. It's going to be a thing of beauty. From what I've seen, his defensive wrestling has looked quite good as well in his last fight. And, Bruno Silva in his first fight in the UFC against Khalid Taha, he tried to get the fight to the mat as much as possible. He only went 2 for 11 on his takedowns, good for only 18%. Not great. He's smaller than Dvorak. He doesn't have as much muscle mass and stuff like that. I just don't think he's going to really overwhelm Dvorak here. Dvorak is a top prospect. Silva looked good in his LFA fight against Casey Kenny, but then again, if you look at the when he was on Tough, he got knocked out within 7 seconds. So you have the good and the bad, and I think the bad outweighs more than the good because that fight against Casey Kenny, he didn't win. It went to a draw. So yes, that's great. Casey Kenny is top level UFC prospect. He's 3-1 in the UFC. But I just don't think Bruno Silva is really going to do much that Dvorak hasn't seen before. Stand-up's not that great. He tried to stay on the outside, throws some naked leg kicks, doesn't throw a ton of combinations, throws less than – let me get that. What did I say? He doesn't throw much. He's only landing 1.54 strikes per minute. He's only throwing 3.25 per minute. So he's not throwing a ton of volume. And from what I've seen, I know Dvorak is a counter striker waiting for his opponent really to strike first. But the moment he throws a punch, he's countering with 2, 3, 4 strikes in the pocket. And I really think he's going to crack the chin of Silva here and probably put him out. You're talking about right now, Dvorak, this fight the odds makers are thinking it's not going to a decision, and if that's the case, the likely finisher here is Dvorak, and I'm really liking him at -110. It's a pick'em fight, but I feel he definitely should be a heavier favorite here. Definitely way more than -110. Moving forward, another unfortunately low level women's MMA fight between Mayra Bueno Silva and -145, and the comeback on Marina Moroz is +135. True, yes, Bayer, you're right. Absolutely. He's not gonna let it go to the scorecards. You're talking about he has 15 of his 17 wins have come inside the distance. All 13 of his last, all of his last 13 wins have come inside the distance. So, very good price there on Dvorak. And if you're playing DraftKings or FanDuel, whichever, I think he's a great price. I think on DraftKings he's only 8,000 salary, and you're talking about it. They're favoring him to win inside the distance. I think that's a no-brainer there. So we got Mayra Bueno Silva at -145, and the comeback of Marina Moroz is +135. There's not much here. You got Silva, she's 6-0, 4 wins come by submission. She had an impressive submission off her back against Jillian Robertson in her UFC debut, but she hasn't fought since then. It's been about 2 years since she's fought. But she got taken down. She was getting beat up on the feet, but then she pulled off that sub right at the end of round 1. It was very impressive, but it's just like something that's unlikely to happen over and over and over again. Moroz hasn't looked like a world beater herself either, but she's faced much better competition over her time in the UFC. She has more fights inside the UFC. She's 9-3, 5 wins by submission, 3 by decision, 1 by KO. She's never been submitted. But the thing is, what I do like about Moroz here, she throws a ton of volume. She throws 13 strikes per minute, and that's massively more than what Silva does on the feet. She only throws 6.59, almost doubling the amount of strikes that Silva is going to throw at her. And Silva's not a great grappler, to get this fight to the mat. She's good when it actually gets to the mat, but as long as Moroz is able to keep this fight on the feet, I think she has this fight all day, and we're getting her at +135. I think there's decent value there. I would probably take Moroz by decision. I'm not sure what that prop is as far as money wise. Let me see, give you guys for her to win by decision. Moroz wins by decision +176. I think that's pretty good value there. That's most likely the outcome that if Moroz does win this fight, and you're getting her at +176 to win by decision. Majority of the time, I'm gonna take a women's fight to go to a decision, and +176 by decision. I think I'm all over that. Not a home run play whatsoever by any means, but I think she definitely could outpoint her on the feet quite easily. As long as this fight doesn't get to the mat, I think it's her fight to lose. Moving forward, we got Enrique Barzola taking on Rani Yahya. Barzola is a -190 favorite, and the comeback on Rani Yahya is +175. I think this is one of my favorite fights too. I love this fight. I love that Enrique Barzola is coming down from 145 to 135. He's going to have the massive strength and size advantage in this fight. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage. I know he's not much taller than him. He's about 1 or 2 inches taller than him, but he's going to be massively stronger than Yahya. Yahya, the only way he wins his fights are by submission and getting his fight to the mat. And the thing is with Barzola, he's only been taken down by 2 much better wrestlers than Rani Yahya in his career. And the rest of his 7 fights, he's never been taken down. I think, majority of the time when we watch Barzola fight, he's usually the one pushing forward and engaging in the takedowns and the wrestling. But here, I think he's going to use his wrestling to keep this fight standing, because he does have a massive striking advantage here. You're talking, he's landing 3.93 strikes per minute. He's throwing over 10 strikes per minute, outlining his opponents by 8%. While you're talking about Ronnie Yaya, he's landing a putrid 1.56 strikes per minute. He's only throwing 4.33, so massive volume and and accuracy discrepancies in this fight against Yaya. As long as Barzola's on his feet, it's going to be night and day. He's going to tear him up with the leg kicks. He's going to tear him up with his hands. It's just going to be a walk in the park. And I'm telling you guys, I'm all over Barzola here. One of my favorite plays on this card, and you're getting good money on him by decision. I think he's like about plus 120, plus 130. Normally doesn't get a knockout. I mean, is it likely? Yeah, it's likely he could do it, but I'm a decision guy because the way my mindset goes is you have two professional fighters in a cage together. It's very, very hard for one professional fighter to either knock out or make another professional fighter submit and tap out. It's just, you got two people fighting to the death. It's very hard, and I really love decision props, especially when a guy, his average fight time is 15 minutes, so he goes to the decision almost all the time. Are any of these matches on FanDuel? Yeah, on FanDuel, this is their first time ever doing MMA. Since we're during this time, this unfortunate time with this virus that's going around. FanDuel has to get some money somehow, so they're putting out MMA, and they do not have a lot of these fights. I think they only have the main card, unfortunately. So the thing that sucks about that is there's not going to be too many winning combinations. So I can see whoever wins the top is going to be split by like 10 plus people because there's not too many combinations to win. But if you go over to DraftKings has the entire slate and makes it much harder because the scoring system's a lot different because of you get points for transitions, you get points for takedowns, you get less points for significant strikes. You don't have an MVP like FanDuel has, so it's very, very difficult to win more on DraftKings than FanDuel. I think FanDuel, I hopped on that like ASAP. I put lineups in. I feel it. The amount of people that really have knowledge of MMA on FanDuel is very, very slim because everybody's doing football, baseball, soccer, NHL, golf, all that stuff. So I really, really got into FanDuel, and I think we should definitely cash out today. Yeah, so that's my pick. I love Barzola. I don't know if you guys are into the juice. If you don't care about the juice, minus 190. He should be minus 250 or better. In my case, he's going to look great in this fight. He's going to look good at bantamweight. He's absolutely shredded. And if you saw last Ronnie Yaga's fights, he just got taken out 4 times against Ricky Simone, and then Ricky Simone beat his ass on the feet. So Ricky Simone absolutely dominated. And Barzola and Simone, I feel like are kind of the same type of fighters. I think Ricky Simone's a little bit better on the feet. He's faster. He's crisper with his his boxing and his feints when coming inside and stuff like that. But I think Yaya is absolutely outmatched here on the feet by a massive discrepancy. What's up, Armin? How's it going, bro? Hey, no problem, Don. Like I said, I'm here. I'm gonna be doing this every single Saturday before the fights. If there are fights, moving forward after this, we really don't know if we're definitely gonna get some more fights after this. I'm hoping so, but I don't want these fighters to really to get this virus. I don't wish that upon anybody, whether it's the fighters or the staff there. But I know they're taking precautions and they're really they're really doing their due diligence and making sure that everybody's safe. So which is a good thing. But moving forward, this is a fantastic fight, guys. This is a fantastic fight. It's a pick 'em fight, and rightfully so. It's a very hard fight to really choose, and that's Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos at minus 125, and the comeback on Alexei Kunchenko is plus 115. This is a fantastic fight and probably arguably going to be one of the best fights on this card. You got two amazingly great strikers. Zaleski dos Santos is 20-6. He's got a 3-inch height and reach advantage over Kunchenko. He's landing over 4.18 strikes per minute. He's outstriking his opponents with a 1.15 to 1 striking ratio. which is great. 14 wins by knockout, 3 by sub. So this dude's an absolute finisher. 17 of his 20 wins have come inside the distance. So you know that this is going to be an absolute barn burner and a banger of a fight. Kunchenko, he's 20-1, outstrikes his opponents by 7%, lands 3.62 strikes per minute, while throwing 8.62. He's got a decent volume, not the kind of volume you really want to see, but he's very, very precise with his strikes. Doesn't get hit a ton at all. He's got 12 wins by knockout, 2 by sub, 6 by decision. He's a much, much more technical striker between the two. Dos Santos is definitely going to push the pace, push the pressure, and it's going to be up to Kunchenko to really use his footwork and his angles to be able to outpoint and outstrike Dos Santos and really lay the hammer down. It's this is a very, 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 very hard fight to choose. I like the value on Kunchenko. The line keeps dropping. Zaleski was a quite heavy of a favorite, but now it's down to minus 125. We're getting Kunchenko at plus 115. Dos Santos just got knocked down in his last fight against Jin Liang. So I don't know. If I'm taking a side here, it's not a home run, but I like Kunchenko by decision. We're getting him at plus 265. I just think he's going to be able to land more, be more accurate, stay out of the power of Dos Santos, and really just outland him and outstrike him to a unanimous decision. But anything could happen this fight. I could totally see a Dos Santos knockout. It's just I think this fight is a barn burner, and I'm very excited for it. Next up, we got Amanda Ribas taking on Ronda Marcos. Ribas is a minus 365 favorite, and the comeback on Marcos is plus 328. Man, this is a massive. She's a massive favorite, Ribas. I don't think that she should be a massive favorite. Is she better than Marcos? Yes, absolutely. But minus 365, I think it's a little too much. I know she's 2-0 in the UFC. I believe her last 2 fights, it's ended inside the distance. So, I mean, she's looked great in her short time here. Marcos has been, alternating wins and losses throughout her entire career. But she's tough. She is super tough. She's super durable. She's got decent grappling. But I think Ribas is definitely the more complete fighter of the two. She's looked very, very good on the feet. She's landing over 4.31 strikes per minute. She's not even getting touched on the feet. She's only absorbing less than 2 strikes per minute. So she's been looking great in her only 2 fights in the UFC. But Ronda, she's going to push forward. She's going to try to walk through all those punches, eat those punches just to get the inside and drag this fight to the mat where that she might have an advantage. Yeah, you're right. She doesn't have KO power. You're right. Rios doesn't have value. But you could take her by decision. I think she has value there. I know it's not plus money, but minus 126 for a fight that you think that she should dominate on the feet. She should outstrike Ronda. Ronda gets hit a ton, as you've seen her fight a lot in her time in the UFC. She does get hit a ton, and Ribas is definitely quicker on the feet. She's got more of a arsenal with her kicks and her punches. So I really do think she does have a clear advantage there. It's just whether or not she could stop the takedowns from Marcos. Marcos doesn't have the best takedowns, but she does have some good trips, and she does have some good top pressure once she actually gets it there. She has a good to know. That's something I did not know. Thank you, Bayer. I did not know she was a world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. Maybe she does take this fight to the mat and get a sub. It's possible. Appreciate that. I'm gonna put that on the screen so people can see this. If people can see that. She's a world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion from this man right here. I take his word for it. Amanda Ribas. You can maybe take her by submission, but I do think she does roll over Marcos here. I definitely do think that. and I just don't think I would lay the juice on her. Unfortunately, minus 265. I don't ever like laying on a female fight ever because we've gotten burned in the past. You're talking about all these massive favorites lost, Um, but yeah, I don't not too big on that, but definitely have Rebus here. Maybe take her by decision or submission. She's definitely a good DraftKings or FanDuel play as well. Moving forward, we have I love this fight too. Brandon Moreno taking on Jussier Formiga. Jussier Formiga. Yeah, don't worry, guys. Yes, I have a goofy cup. Yes, I'm still a kid at heart. Remember, guys, always stay young. But yeah, this fight between Moreno and Formiga, this is a fantastic fight. And Moreno has been on fire as of late. I know he's 1-0-1 in his last two fights against Kai Kora France and wow, why I don't know why I'm just I don't know why I'm just blanking. Give me a second, guys. I've totally blanking here. I know he's a deaf dude out of Russia. He was a champion, wrestling champion. Went to a draw. That was a fantastic scrambling fight between those two. But yeah, Moreno has absolutely a ton of value here. He's plus 150. He's been on a tear as of late. Yeah, Askarov. Yes, they went to a split draw. It was definitely a ton of grappling and scrambling exchanges. If you've seen, Moreno's been doing a ton of grappling matches outside of the UFC, so he's working on his wrestling offensively and defensively and his scrambles and that. I really do think that Moreno is just on a different trajectory as far as careers go. Moreno has the chance of being next in line after these two to be, the next champion. He's been looking phenomenal. His striking is definitely going to be way better than Formiga. I know Formiga took down and beat and and beat what's his name, Figueiredo, and just absolutely dominated him on the mat. He didn't get a ton of damage on the feet either. But this is a different fight. You know, Formiga, he doesn't throw a ton of volume. He doesn't really press forward. He's looking to get the grappling exchanges. And with Figueiredo, he's not one to press forward and throw a ton of volume either. He's just one to counter you coming in. So if you have two guys that aren't throwing a ton of volume and aren't really pressing forward, it's just going to be kind of a stalemate on the feet. And that's kind of what happened. And Figueiredo let Formiga get inside and take him down and just grind him out. I don't see that here. I feel like Moreno's got to push the pace, put that pressure on Formiga, something that Joe B was able to do and really crack Formiga's chin. Moreno's been looking fantastic on the feet. He outstruck Kai Kara France, who's arguably one of the top strikers in the flyweight division, next to like Alex Perez and Joe B and and Figueiredo. So as long as Moreno is able to get up if he's been taken down or win the scrambling exchanges, which I really do think he can, he's got the advantage on the feet all day. I don't think he has the power to finish Formiga. I don't think he finishes him, but you're getting him plus 150, great value there. You're getting him plus 260, I think, by decision, which is fucking phenomenal. Especially a flyweight fight, most likely it's going to go to a decision. And I think he's just going to completely outwork him here. And luckily for us, there's no audience in attendance. I don't think the judges are going to be swayed by just takedowns in this fight. And I think Moreno is going to cruise to a nice decision here and get this plus money win for us. Loving that money right there. Next up, we have John Makdessi taking on Francisco Trinaldo. Low-level fight here. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you would see that I threw out a ton of stats on this fight. I feel Makdessi has a ton of advantage on the feet just because he throws a ton more volume. He's landing over 5 strikes per minute. in his last 5 fights. You have Trinaldo, who's not even landing 2.3 per minute in his last 5 fights. He's extremely low output striker, and he was gifted his last win against Bobby Brown. I mean, Bobby Green. There's no way he won that fight. There was absolutely no way he won the fight. It should have been a unanimous decision for Green to win, but it was in Brazil with the Brazil judging, with the crowd going crazy. But unfortunately for him, there's no crowd to really sway into the judges. The way that Trinaldo can win this fight is if he makes it a dirty fight, he gets on the inside, clinches up, and tries to get this fight to the mat. But McDessie actually has pretty good takedown defense at over, I think, about around 88% or 86% takedown defense, which is phenomenal. He's defended over 40 takedown attempts. And he's only let up about 6 or so. So, he's been great there. I know he hasn't fought high level competition like Trinaldo has, but you're talking about Trinaldo's getting up in age. He doesn't throw a ton of volume. And if he doesn't get this fight to the ground, the only way he can win this fight on the feet is if he gets a knockout or he gets knocked down so that it sways the judges when he gets to the scorecards. And for that, we're getting McDessie at plus 150. This fight is undoubtedly going to a decision. So if you're taking either one of these fighters, you should take them by decision. And I really like McDessie in this fight. There's a lot of dogs in this card that I do like, and we're getting McDessie at decision at plus 225. I think that has immense value here. Absolutely a ton of value here. He's definitely going to be the one landing more. He's definitely going to be the one throwing more. So as long as he just avoids the power of Trinaldo and doesn't get taken down and doesn't get into a grappling fight against the fence, I think it's his fight to lose on the feet. And we're getting him at plus 150. Another fight that we get at plus 150 in over 2-1 odds at a decision here. Loving that there. Next up is a bar burner, another great fight between Johnny Walker and Nikita Krylov, and a fight that's most likely not going to a decision at all. Walker coming off a very surprising knockout loss to Corey Anderson, and Krylov is coming off a split decision loss to Glover Teixeira, who he looked kind of stagnant in that fight. He looked kind of scared to get hit by Glover, which is not ideal when you're taking on someone like Johnny Walker, who's quite dangerous on the feet. I know Krylov hasn't been finished since 2015. He's only been finished once on the feet, but Johnny Walker is definitely a different animal. Walker is now training out of TriStar with Firas Zahabi, so I don't think we're going to see the same craziness that we normally see from Walker. I think it's going to be more calculated, kind of like what we saw from Lee. Lee, before going to TriStar, he was more of a pressure fighter, throwing a ton of combinations and really throwing caution to the wind in his striking style. But now, if you saw him against Gregor Gillespie, he was very calculated with his approach and landed that beautiful left jab, left high kick, and knocked him out cold. That was one of the sickest knockouts you will ever see in the UFC. And I think we're going to see a lot better, more technical striking from Walker in this fight. And in that case, I don't see a completely early finish from him, maybe in like round 2. But I feel like Walker gets back into his winning ways in this one. It's hard. He's got the intangibles. He's much taller, much bigger, much stronger. And as long as he can defend the takedowns, which I do think he will, Krylov is not the best at his wrestling. He's good once he finally gets on top on the mat. But if we saw against Corey Anderson, he was able to get back up once he was taken down. Corey Anderson is light years better than Krylov and when it comes to grappling and wrestling exchanges. He got taken down, jumped right back up because his strength was able to just push down on the head and just wall walk his way right back up. It's just where he got cracked is unfortunate. I don't see Krylov really having much on the feet for Walker. And you're getting Walker at minus 135, and that's because of his most recent loss. So a lot of people are kind of fading him at this point, and rightfully so. And I totally get that. But I think Walker has the intangibles to, stuff the takedowns and just land at will on the feet. He's got the massive reach advantage, massive size advantage, height advantage, power advantage, and Krylov's only path to victory is really getting this fight down to the mat and getting a submission, which is definitely a possibility. Walker's been submitted one time in his life to Klidson Abreu on the regional scene, who's now in the UFC. But it's definitely the unlikely scenario happening, in my opinion. And if I'm choosing one of these guys in a pretty good pick 'em fight, they'll be taking Johnny Walker at minus 135 here. Moving on, we have Hanato Morikano taking on Damir Hadzovic. This is the first fight at 155 pounds. Morikano was recently a 145er, one of the top 145ers until he ran into Jose Aldo and Chung Sung Jung, the Korean zombie, where he got knocked out in both of those fights. Unfortunately, he got into brawls for what ungodly reason. It is what it is, but he's moving up in weight. He's not fighting a top guy, which is a fantastic thing for us here. He's minus 370, and rightfully so. He's much better than Damir, arguably everywhere. He's got even at 155, he has the height, reach, and strength advantage here. Hadzovic he's a good striker, he's a good kickboxer. Doesn't have a ton of power, in my opinion, to really crack the chin of Morikano. I don't think Morikano's really gonna get into a brawl in this fight, especially how his last fights came out. He used a ton of leg kicks like he normally does, like he did in his previous fights. As long as he's able to do that, stay at range, he's going to pick him apart. But where he has a massive advantage is in the grappling and submissions. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He has really good double leg takedowns. I feel he's really going to get this fight to the ground and possibly sink in a submission, because Hadzovic is a fish out of water when it comes to getting this fight to, when he gets taken down. He's very bad. He's not good at defending takedowns, not good at defending submissions. So I know Morikano is a minus 370 favorite, and I'm not telling anybody to lay the juice on that. That's absolutely absurd. You can maybe parlay Morikano and Ribas and get close to, I think, like minus 130 of a line or so, which is not that bad. I think they're both pretty much locks to get a W here. But if you want a prop, I definitely think Morikano either by submission or decision. I think he's going to roll over Hadzovic here. Great play for DraftKings or FanDuel. I know he's definitely the most expensive play on both sites. So, and rightfully so, he should roll over Hadzovic here and really solidify himself as a contender at 155 pounds. And I'm glad that they didn't just throw him in here against a top 15 opponent, and they're actually trying to build him back up. And I'm glad that he wants to, progress and not just jump back in there with the Lions, especially guys at 155 pounds. It's definitely a different animal than at 145. So yeah, definitely have Morikano here. Unfortunately, you can't play him at minus 370, but you could get those props in submission or decision, whichever. I like him here. Next up is it's a grappler's delight in this fight between Damian Maia and Gilbert Burns. Man, oh man, this is gonna be a good one. You're talking about two Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champions, Gilbert Burns, no-gi world champion, Damian Maia, world champion. This is going to be a crazy grappling, scrambly type of fight. I don't see a submission on either end. Both are highly, highly well-versed in that type of fight, and I don't see how either one's going to get a submission over each other. It's going to be a very stalemate type of fight, very up against defense. Burns trying to defend the takedowns, get back up, reverse position once it gets to the mat. It's going to be a very interesting fight. I do think this fight goes the goes to a decision for the most part, and I think that's at minus 185. Actually, that's a great line. If you don't want to take a side here, minus 185 for this fight to go to a decision, I think that's a fantastic prop here. I'm a massive Gilbert Burns fan. I'm not gonna lie. I do think he takes this fight here. I think he wins by a decision, which is plus 160. I think that's fantastic because I don't think either one of these guys are getting submitted here. So it's definitely gonna get to a decision. I don't think Burns is gonna knock him out. Myers looked better in his stand up. He's got a chin on him. He is bigger than Burns, but I think as long as Burns should just get back up, he's got his leg kicks. He's got hands. He's got power. There's no way Meyer has nothing that Burns hasn't seen on the feet, and he's got nothing for Burns on the feet. So as long as Burns can sprawl and brawl and not really engaging into the grappling exchanges and really not trying to go for submissions and just trying to stay on the feet and outstrike Maya. I think he has this fight all day. But, this is Damian Maya. He's won fights where he's just been hugging people for 2 rounds. Like in his fight against Anthony Martin, he got his back, didn't sub Anthony Martin. 3rd round, he just ran around for 5 minutes and to avoid getting hit. He literally just ran around the cage for 5 minutes. He ran away from Anthony Martin for an entirety of 1 round, to the point where they're like, you have to fight or you're going to get a point deducted. That's how bad it was. So as long as Burns is able to do enough in the first 2 rounds and not get just hugged for an eternity, which I don't see happening, I think he has this fight all day. And even him right now, he's a minus 170 favorite. And money has been coming in on Maya, and rightfully so. People think he's just going to go in there, submit him, take him down. And I totally understand that narrative and their mindset, but Burns has a way different trajectory compared to Maya. Maya's on his way out. He's a living legend, and this is a massive fight for Burns. He wins this fight. He's the number 6 ranked welterweight after coming up from lightweight. So this is a massive fight for him, and I do think he takes this by decision. And right now he's plus 160 by decision. And last but not least, we have the main event between Charles Oliveira and Kevin Lee. This is a great fight that is absolutely 1,000,000% not going the distance. And by the reason why I say that is, for it to go to the distance, it is plus 280. For it to not go to decision is minus 370. So the odds makers are totally with me on this one. 5-round fight. Charles Oliveira has the most submissions in UFC history at 13. I don't think he's been to a decision in like 10 years or so, something like crazy like that. And Lee just coming off that knockout win in his last fight, so they're just gonna be going at it from the first bell that you see there. It's this is a great fight, and it's a fight that's in my opinion very, very hard to choose from. I see the reason why people are taking Lee. He's looked great, in his career. You talking about a guy that got mount on Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee. He got on Tony Ferguson. Got mount, was beating the shit out of him until he unfortunately gassed himself out and got tapped out by a triangle choke. But then you have Charles Oliveira. He's on a 6-fight win streak, finished everybody in those 6 fights. He got all finishes. He's coming off 2 knockouts in his last 2 fights, and he's looked spectacular. So it's very, very, very hard to choose between these two. I know this fight is definitely not going to a decision. Lee missed weight by 2.5 pounds, so I don't know if that's really going to play a factor, advantage or disadvantage wise. Can I get a shout out? Vlog Minsky? Yeah, sure. Why the hell not? I'll put you up there, bro. Here, shouting this man out. Vlog Minsky Media. Go follow this dude. See that guy? Yeah, go follow him. Anyways, back to the fights. But yeah, if I'm choosing, I really do like dog money on Charles Oliveira here, plus 140. He's been on fire. He's got the size advantage in this fight, which is crazy to say, but he's huge for this division. He's got 2-3 inch reach and a height advantage. If this fight gets to the mat, which it probably will, Oliveira is well versed at not getting beat to shit by Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee has got a great top game, but he's never faced anybody. He's faced a Tony Ferguson. He's great in jiu-jitsu, and look what happened. He tapped him out. I think the same thing could happen in this fight as long as Oliveira doesn't end up like when he fought Felder years and years ago. But I think he's gotten much, much better since then. And I feel Oliveira is going to be the one pushing forward. And he's going to have Lee on the back foot. And Lee's going to try to, get the fight to the mat. But then I feel like he might get caught in a guillotine choke or get swept, stuff like that. I just have some feeling that something crazy is going to happen in this fight where Oliveira is going to catch him in some crazy choke or some crazy submission. And that fight is very hard to choose from. I understand both sides. And I can't wait for that fight. Definitely. So yeah, that is the breakdown, the complete and utter breakdown of these fights here. And I'm gonna throw out some plays for you to cash in on, some of my favorite plays. I definitely like David Dvorak minus 115 as one of my favorite plays. Also, I'm really liking Brandon Moreno at plus 150. And who else? I'm giving one more. I'm going to give you one more, guys. I'm really, really liking. Oh, yeah. Enrique Barzola, minus 190. You definitely can take Brandon Moreno by decision. You could definitely take Barzola by decision as well. I love those two props, both extreme plus money props there. But yeah, those are my three favorite plays for you guys to cash in on. Yeah, David Dvorak minus 115, Enrique Barzola minus 190, and Brandon Moreno plus 150. Do you guys have any questions on any fights that you might want to touch base on? My lineup looks like Walker, Oliveira, Ribas, Moreno, Konchenko. That's pretty damn good lineup. Not gonna lie, very, very good lineup. Walker has about a 80% chance of finishing the fight. Oliveira is just right up there as well, and with DraftKings and all of that, with 5 rounds, you have to take Oliveira or Lee in your lineups. Yeah, if you guys don't know and don't play DraftKings or FanDuel much as far as UFC goes, you must have a main event fighter in your lineup because you're getting those extra 2 rounds to work with. Always, absolutely gonna have to, because even if they don't get a finish in the first 3 rounds, you have 2 extra rounds to make that up with either strikes or getting a finish in the later rounds. Walker by KO, I mean, that's his most likely way of winning. I definitely think he's probably going to get a knockout if he does win. I have a crazy long shot parlay where I parlayed Bay Malecki by decision and Johnny Walker by decision. It was like $5 to win 265. I think it was like 60-1 odds. It was just a shot in the dark kind of play. I've kind of wasted $5 on worse shit than that. So, but yeah, Walker KO is definitely in the most likely scenario if he does win here. Any other questions before I head out on this beautiful Saturday? Getting ready for some fights in a couple hours. Anything else you guys need any help with? If not, you guys know where to find me. You guys can, give my page a like on Facebook. You guys go subscribe to my YouTube page. I'll be here every Saturday. Just message me if you guys need some help, whatever. If you want the full card, guys, you want the full card, you gotta message me. It's only $25, or you can go to my my website, thefightanalyst.com, and purchase our package there. Can you give me the craziest parlay? Do you have props? If you don't have props, I can just crazy parlay, please. You could take Bay Malecki by decision. You can take Enrique Barzola by decision, Brandon Moreno by decision, McDessie by decision, 300-1. Man, you're asking for a lot here. Like a lot. like a lot. But look, props. Okay, let me work this out for you. So we're gonna get Malecki by decision. Okay, we're gonna get Dvorak. We're gonna take Barzola by decision. I'm just trying to get these plays in the parlay thing. What the hell is it? Barzola by decision. Moreno by decision. I'm working, guys. Don't think I'm not here. I'm just trying to get this done. And then we got Rivas. I'll take by decision. Yeah, I'm a decision guy. I'm not too keen on ever taking inside the distance type props, unless I know they're going to be like a knockout, like in the Walker Krylov fight. Definitely possible. Then I'm going to take Morcano by submission. Moricano wins by submission at plus 390. And then from there, you have plus 40,476 odds. That's so you got Malecki by decision, David Dvorak, Barzola wins by decision, Moreno wins by decision, Ribas wins by decision, and Moricano by submission, plus 40,476. What's up, Stack? The three plays that I'm keying in on are Enrique Barzola minus 190, David Dvorak minus 115, and Brandon Moreno plus 150. If you have props, I definitely suggest taking Barzola by decision, and I'm really liking Moreno by decision as well. They're both very good plus money plays. I think Moreno is by decision is plus 220, fantastic odds, and Barzola by decision plus 110, also great odds there as well. So yeah, if you guys have no more questions, you guys know where to find me. If you want the full card, go to thefightanalyst.com or message me. I got PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I have everything. We have 7 prop parlays with no less than 7-1 odds on each and every one of them. So you only need one to hit to just free roll for your money. We're not talking betting a ton of money on those. You're talking just like $10. So if you have, $70, 7 plays, all you need is one to hit and you are profiting. That's it. Just one. You just need one to hit to profit. That's all you need. It's we're gonna do great here. We're gonna cash out, guys. We're gonna cash out tonight. I know there's no sports, but we got fights, and hopefully you got fights for weeks and weeks to come, and I will be here helping you guys make some money. So with that said, you guys can go follow me on Twitter at Fight Analysts, or you can go and like my page on Facebook, The Fight Analyst, and head over to my YouTube and subscribe. Like I said, once we get to 1,000 likes on Facebook, I'm giving away a month free of fights. Once we get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, I'm giving a month free to somebody for our fight picks as well. So, go over there and let's get this money. I will talk to you guys later. If you got anything, just hit me up. I'm out of here. Have a beautiful Saturday. Remember, guys, stay safe and stay inside. I'm out.